Views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail. Hey, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. This is Talk Radio to Thrive By. And for those of you that have been listening, welcome back. Yeah, we've got a great show for you. Dr. Friedemann Schaub is in the house. Benny, question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
This is the topic today. You ready?
All right.
All right. Are you addicted to stress and anxiety? Are you addicted to stress and anxiety? Of course, Dr. Friedemann Schaub would pick that topic, right? I cannot wait to hear.
Well, it depends on if stress finds me or I find stress.
Oh, that's
Hey-o.
a go.
Hey-o.
That was a wiener. I can't wait till we talk about that.
She means winner, folks.
That's what I mean, folks. Do you have I don't know, are you like a little stress magnet?
Again, if I create it or does it create from me? I mean,
chicken or egg?
Yeah, it depends.
It's a chicken or the egg?
It depends. I may be held accountable, yes, or
right.
Those coming at me.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is going to be a great show. Are you addicted to stress and anxiety? Do you feel often anxious for no reason? I think that's a new book title, Anxious for No Reason. Everything is stable and peaceful in your life, and then an inner restlessness arises, causing you to stretch for something to worry about.
I assume you're looking at me now. Yes,
I just had like a crazy thought.
Yeah, a delayed reaction.
Yeah. Or have you ever suspected yourself as being a person whom for some reason appears to need a certain amount of drama and chaos in your life? Oh, my gosh, I have a friend like this. Listen to this. Of course, it's not me. Listen to this radio interview today. Yeah, right. Dr. Friedemann Schaub. We're going to kick this up. This is a juicy one. He's the author of the best-selling book and award-winning book, The Fear and Anxiety Solution. And more importantly, he has been a friend, a colleague, a regular co-host on the Dr. Pat Show for as long as I can remember. We're going to give you a lot of information. Also, he's one of the few people out there that he will give you a free consultation. Yeah. And this is what I love. And here's the number, folks, if you want to call him for a free consultation, 866-903-6463. That's for a free, and you're going to want to write that number down today, 866-903-6463. Today is also a live call-in show, because for those of you out there and thinking, okay, wait a minute, I'm not addicted to this. If you need to get some help right during this show today, you are going to be able to send us an instant feedback message. Go to the drpatshow.com or go to transformationtalkradio.com. Type in your question. Well, we have got a lot of folks that have been punching in this information in the instant feedback. So this is another show for you to do that. Wow. Dr. Friedemann, it is so great to have you on this show today. Absolutely amazing to have you on this show today so that we can talk about what this is that we create, this addiction. And so, I mean, what do we need to do here? A 12-step program for this? Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's always such a pleasure to be with you and on the show. And yeah, I think this is a good question. You know, what are we going to do with this? But I think we first have to look at it. What is actually an addiction to stress and anxiety?
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. What is it? And you heard Benny's comments at the beginning, so we can get to those later, because I think that what Benny said, I feel what Benny's saying, because I feel the same thing. But what is an addiction, and how do we recognize it?
Well, I mean, in general, we know that an addiction is basically something that requires us to have more of something. So whether it's addiction to tobacco, to alcohol, to work, whatever it is something that when we are not having it, we get restless, we are searching for it, we feel somehow unfulfilled. And that's what happens also often with stress and anxiety. If you have been dealing with stress and anxiety for a long time, and you have been noticing that there are these times where Sunday afternoon, everything is easy, you just have been eating your ice cream, and you just feel like, well, actually life is good. And all of a sudden, there is this uneasiness creeping in, and you're consciously or subconsciously starting to look for reasons to worry, things that are popping in your in your mind. Maybe you worry already about Monday morning, or you just think about last week, and you're feeling like, well, my mind is going in the direction of building more and more of those fearful thoughts, and with that also stress. Chances are that you have an addiction to those emotions.
Bummer. Yeah, the reason I say this is because look. Let's talk about something that's as recent as the latest events in Boston. And, there is a level of anxiety that I think we feel at a global level. We have this veneer that we pick up about world events, right? And then we have national events. And then we have the things, depending upon where you live in your community. Then we have the family events. Then we have our own individual events in our lives. And someone said to me the other day, I guess they must have looked at this upcoming show, and someone said to me today, I don't know how not to be addicted to stress. It's everywhere in my life. And that is such a prophetic statement to make. I mean, can you feel the people that are feeling this right now?
Well, and, I got actually quite a few emails in response to this upcoming or to this show here
right.
that said, are you writing this because of me? I know exactly what that feels like. And what they also admitted, though, is, and I think that's important to realize, yes, there are a lot of reasons to feel anxiety in life, but there are equal amounts or more reasons to feel other things like joy or peace or happiness in life as well. But if we are addicted to our stress and anxiety, we are gravitating more to the news that makes us more anxious. We are looking more for that, what creates those emotions. And, I think it's important to point out an addiction to emotion is not something for you to beat yourself up upon and blame yourself. It is actually something that you could say physiologically and emotionally, it's just a reaction to years and years of stress. And your body, your cells, the receptors that are basically dealing with your stress hormones became so used to having that as the fuel of, their cells, of how they're working, that basically they are asking for more. And, if you are, getting used to a certain kind of diet, at some point your body wants more of that. And that's exactly what happens on a physiological level to the addiction of stress, that your body just has been accustomed to the constant diet of stress hormones. And when it doesn't get it, it just feels something is missing. So there's nothing for you to feel bad about, but there is something you need to do. And that's also something we're going to talk about.
Well, and this is what I'm not surprised you got emails about this, because I got emails about it too. And I think it's one of the hottest topics on the planet right now, because we don't even understand what addiction is anymore. And I want to talk to you about that. Let's define addiction. There's one thing to understand addiction if you have a substance abuse problem, right? And
right.
A lot of the times you can't even see it. You think, oh, man, I'm a social drinker. I just drink every day socially. Or, I got pain. And so, okay, I'm taking 3 oxys a day. We don't even see it. Stress and anxiety is so elusive because we are so ingrained in a level of fear a lot of time of the day. You know, we're worried about our jobs, we're worried about our bills not getting paid. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and that's that's a psychological component of the addiction.
Yeah.
So if you are addicted to, let's say you're addicted to something that makes you feel simply more relaxed, like, alcohol or, pot smoking or so on, that's something that obviously you have on a psychological place, the need to feel more relaxed because, maybe you're dealing with stress or you're dealing with anxiety, or let's say you're feeling that you are addicted to your work, and work becomes the drug of choice because work gives you a sense of purpose or gives you a sense of confidence, and so that's what you are gravitating to. So what we need to ask ourselves is, what does actually the stress and anxiety give us? What does it provide us with as a placeholder that we otherwise don't feel we can get? And in that case, many people that feel stress and anxiety on an addicted level feel that this is the only way for them to feel in control. This is the vicious cycle. You believe, well, everything outside of you is so difficult and out of control, so when you're stressing about it and when you're focusing on it and when you're thinking about all the what-ifs in life that can happen, you have a sense of, well, at least I keep my tabs on it and I'm a little bit more in control of it. And that is obviously a false sense of control because it never gives you a sense of peace. But it can be that driving factor that makes you more and more wanting to look for things to worry about.
Wow. Oh, I'm exhausted. We're going to take a short break. Dr. Friedemann Schaub's in the house. And by the way, we're taking your questions. If you want to get some information, if you want to get some help about, either understanding whether or not you're addicted or get some help with stress and anxiety, we've got a caller number, 1-800-930-2819, but also our instant feedback at the Dr. Pat Show and Transformation Talk Radio on the right-hand side. Just submit your question, submit your comment, and we are going to get through this today. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back with the show.
The Michael Shane Show. Conversations with the Ascended Masters on Transformation Talk Radio.com on the 3rd and 4th Monday of every month at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. To connect with the Ascended Masters and raise your vibration, call in for a live on-air reading with Michael and the Ascended Masters. Visit michaelshane.com. That's MyChael Shane.com. Or call 800-508-6437 to schedule a full healing session.
Are you feeling stuck? Do you want to be free from fears and doubts and finally feel good about yourself, but you just don't know how to get there? Dr. Schaub's Accelerated Breakthrough Program provides you with the tools and solutions to go beyond your limitations and achieve self-empowered confidence. Call for your free phone consultation at 866-903-MIND. Visit cellularwisdom.com. That's cellularwisdom.com.
Are you struggling through difficult times? During these times of change, many of us need tools and support to help us get through. Julie Kleinhans is the host of the hit radio show Teaching from the Heart with Julie Kay and is a world-renowned life coach. Many of us are worrying about what will happen to our jobs, our homes, and to our lives. This is why Julie is offering a 40% discount through January 31st of 2013 to support you and your family through these difficult times. She'll teach you how to use energy tools that will help you relieve the stress and anxiety in your life. Julie is donating the net proceeds to victims of Superstorm Sandy through the organization All Hands Volunteers, a U.S.-based nonprofit dedicated to empowering disaster relief volunteers and rebuilding communities. Please call Julie at 516-639-8042, 516-639-8042, or email Julie at mindfocusgeneration.com for more details and to schedule a session.
Tune in each Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern Time on TransformationTalkRadio.com for the Awakening Radio with Patricia. This hit show awakens your dormant, divine, feminine energy. The Awakening Show is the next step on your evolutionary journey through life. Get ready to awaken the dormant seedings within you, your soul's encodement, power, and purpose, and bring this forward with confidence and clarity through the power of your own voice. This show promises to boldly go where you've been before. You just need to remember. Be inspired. Become rewired with the Awakening Radio. Visit awakeningradio.com for weekly topics.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to the Dr. Pat Show. For more information about us, go to thedrpatshow.com or go to transformationtalkradio.com. For more information about my very special guest, regular co-host on the show, Dr. Friedemann Schaub, you can go to cellularwisdom.com or you could go to thefearandanxietysolution.com. Hey, Dr. Friedemann, before we continue, would you mind just telling folks a little bit about how they can get the book, any kind of upcoming seminars that you're doing, and so forth?
Well, the book can be purchased through Amazon.com or all the major book stores, and also through the fearandanxietysolution.com. I also want to offer people that are interested to go to the cellularwisdom.com site and download the free release anxiety meditation that I'm offering to anyone who is interested. And it's a meditation that really helps you to gain also not only a deeper understanding of your anxiety, but also a new way of releasing it and redirecting your mind away from this emotion that may have made you addicted to it, and really finding a much greater peace inside. So that's something I would love to offer to anyone. Just go to cellularwisdom.com. It's on the homepage right on the right side, and enjoy it.
Perfect. So we were talking about, this idea that, and you and I were talking during the break about a comment somebody made to me. And what they said to me was, what would I do without without fear and anxiety? I mean, what happens if I didn't have it? And their comment was, well, you know what? Then the real issues might come up for me. And, they were talking about, I'd rather have fear and anxiety than deal with perhaps maybe some other issues. I don't know, Dr. Friedemann. How does that sound to you?
Well, absolutely. And, when we have these addictions to fear and anxiety, usually we are focusing, of course, at what is outside of us and that seems out of our control. Like you said, maybe it's the money, or it's, the bombings in Boston, or whatever those things are. But we are not focusing necessarily on the internal issues we have. And this is why I have written the Fear and Anxiety Solution book, because it is helping people to understand more that underneath that addiction or underneath the symptoms of ongoing anxiety, there are some deeper root causes that need to be addressed. And those root causes have nothing to do with the world affairs, has nothing to do with the economy. Those root causes are very personal about you. But if you do address those root causes, you no longer have to be addicted. With every addiction, it's not just about getting rid of the drug of choice and, trying to avoid it. Every addiction can only be healed if you understand why you became addicted in the first place. And that's the same thing with anxiety. We need to understand there's a reason that I have been anxious. And maybe the reason is that I deep inside don't believe that I'm actually good enough or that I'm actually able to handle life. And so I became addicted to controlling my circumstances by always looking for anything that can go wrong, or becoming hypervigilant, or becoming a perfectionist. So when you do understand that there are original reasons for the addiction, then you can also heal it. And of course, there are other things that you can do immediately that we're going to get into. But really just taking a step back and saying, okay, when I do have this immediate knee-jerk reflex to turn on CNN or Fox News and watch all day these horrible things that they are reporting about, there is something that draws me to do this, and that something has nothing to do with my reality. That has just to do with something inside of me feeling addicted to that stress. And, that stress, we know stress junkies. You know, we know people that are having an addiction to the adrenaline, and that's not necessarily about being anxious. It's more about feeling the high of, wow, I just jumped from a cliff, or I just, drove 200 miles an hour with my car, or whatever those things are people are doing. It can also make them feel alive and more alive. And that can be another aspect of it.
That's really interesting that you talk about that. Because, I think that we have always known that people have an experience to get pumped up, in their jobs and the thrill of that. I mean, there have been a ton of movies made about, especially the portrayal of the financial district in New York, Wall Street, and what that lifestyle is like. But it's not even that anymore. I mean, I think what you talked about is so profoundly true, in that, we have this idea that getting that adrenaline pumped up is the place to live. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like, okay, we could be addicted to the stress and anxiety, or we could be addicted to the way that makes us feel, or we could be addicted to the fact that we use that as a distraction to really live our lives. But I think what I hear you saying is, the point is we use it as an addiction. And I think that's the difference, isn't it?
Well, we don't use it necessarily consciously, but it becomes an addiction, and we are not really aware of it.
Right.
And I think we have to just step back a little bit and become aware of it. Am I showing the signs of being an addict to stress and anxiety? Am I, for a long time dealing with it? Am I searching for reasons to always feel anxious? Do I feel like more comfortable when I'm struggling than when I'm at quiet and peace with the world and myself? Do I often create stress? Do I create drama? If everything is fine, do I then, break a fight or look for something to criticize and then have stress of, disharmony in my relationships? Do I feel like there is a craving inside of me? Like, someone emailed me when I'm sitting, by myself and everything seems quiet. All of a sudden there is an emotional and physiological craving for me to search for something. And then, of course, there's also the self-sabotaging behavior. How many people are always procrastinating, always late for deadlines, always looking, at something. Let's say, for example, you are searching at Facebook, your ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend, and seeing what they're doing, or what your other colleagues from college are doing, to make yourself feel bad, to feel like, oh my God, they're so much happier and they have so much more going on, and look, they have already that second child and their third house. And this emotional addiction to feeling this, inner turmoil is definitely, these are all components that could tell you, well, maybe there is some truth to this, that I am actually addicted to stress and anxiety.
What I'm really struck by is, the transition of these things. And I want to talk about this when we come back from break. I mean, there are a lot of folks out there that have a lot of responsibility. And when I went through the experience of losing my job, there were moments where I was sitting there and I thought, oh my gosh, what just happened? It's like a void. But then I went on to go to school, and of course I packed myself up and I moved from the East Coast to Seattle. It wasn't until 2001, right, when I actually stopped long enough to. I mean, think about it: 1991 to 2001, 10 years that I filled my life with things to do. Now, I'm not saying I was addicted to these things, but what happened was, when that part of my journey was done, I sat and I felt completely lost. Completely lost. And I want to talk about this when we come back, about what can we do when we actually stop? What should we actually tune into inwardly? What are the messages that really are waiting, longing to come to the forefront for all of us? Because if I didn't have that ability to stop right then and deal with that moment where my brain wasn't filled, I wasn't flying back and forth to California to get that school thing done, I would not have been alert enough to become creative about things. I want to talk about that when we come back, and also be able to help people, Dr. Friedemann, with what we can do. What is it that you've learned that can help folks today truly understand what to do in that space? What happens when we say yes to letting go of our addictions, especially? You were talking about anxiety and stress, but also our addiction to fear. Dr. Friedemann Schaub is in the house. For those of you out there, hey, Dr. Friedemann, what's the best websites for folks to go to?
Well, you can choose from cellularwisdom.com, which is in one word written, cellularwisdom.com, or the fearandanxietysolution.com, all in one word as well.
I love it. And folks, don't let that lunar eclipse get to you, okay? It's all good. We're going to take a short break here on the Dr. Pat Show. We'll be right back.
Join Deborah Diane's live clearing teleconferences to move through blockages with this extremely efficient modality that allows for simultaneous clearing for everyone in the group without having to discuss details or engage in processing. Deborah intuitively facilitates these sessions in a fast-paced and fun environment, so every call is unique to that particular group. You'll be amazed at the amount and depth of clearing benefiting everyone on the call. To register for a teleconference, go to consciousrepatterning.com and click on the Register tab to reserve your space in the next call.
Hi, I'm Michelle Bond. I'm the Vedic astrologer who shines a light on what you put into your body. Are you sick and tired of taking all the latest vitamins and herbs that promise to make you feel better and have unlimited energy but find they don't work? The reason they don't is because no two people are alike. There is not one fix for everyone. To find out how I can help you discover what will work for you, go to my website, themichellebondshow.com.
If you have been struggling with fear and anxiety, you know how debilitating these emotions can be. You constantly doubt yourself, you can't make decisions, and feel more and more insecure and stuck. Dr. Friedemann Schaub's new book, The Fear and Anxiety Solution, will provide you with the insights and tools to break through these challenges. Through step-by-step process, Dr. Schaub explains how to address the subconscious root causes of fear and anxiety and transform these emotions into catalysts for confidence, self-worth, and success. Get your copy now and visit thefearandanxietysolution.com.
Have you ever considered what money and sex have in common? Brenda St. Louis, founder of Know That You Know, explores the energies of debt, money, sex, and our bodies. In her 4-week intensive Debt into Delight, Getting Intimate with Your Digits, she tickles all those places we don't want to look at, infusing everything with exuberance. Would you be willing to have more money? Would you be willing to have more of you? Explore more of Brenda St. Louis at knowthatyouknow.com.
Tune into Intuit University, compassionate guidance, connecting you to your inner wisdom with internationally renowned psychic and medium Sherry Dillard. Each Thursday at 12 Pacific, 3 Eastern. Get ready for an hour of practical spirituality, fun, and a magic carpet ride into the spirit realm. This hit show is a combination of call-in readings and intuitive mentoring, as Sherry supports, inspires, and empowers you to create your highest good in relationships, career, finances, life purpose, spirituality, and more. For more information, visit SherryDillard.com. Are you frustrated by what's happening for you around sex and relationships? Do you long for something different without knowing how to create it? Susan Lazar-Hart of Right Relationship for You provides a fresh point of view and practical tools in a light, fun, funny, irreverent, and ultimately life-changing way. Get ready for a new possibility. Visit us at rightrelationshipforyou.com. That's rightrelationshipforyou.com.
My addiction, started out with the kiss.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to the Dr. Pat Show. This is Talk Radio to Thrive By. You know, today, Dr. Friedemann Schaub is my very special guest joining me here today. And as always, you know, he does not fool around at getting down to the issue. You know, getting down to the thing that's really, you know, it's really happening. Are you addicted to stress and anxiety? Dr. Friedemann, before the break, I was talking about, you know, just kind of, you know, just looking back at my life a little bit. And I've been doing that a bit these days. And what I realized is, you know, I looked at that job loss truly as a blessing in so many ways. But once I fulfilled my educational goals and so forth, I remember in 2000 and 2001 feeling absolutely lost. I mean, I didn't want to go back to what I knew and what I could have done. And I became, as I would say, very crusty. That's how crust busting was born. And I wanted you to talk a little bit about this, because if we give up addictions, you know, is there this place, this realization that shows up in our lives? And then how do we deal with it?
Well, I think that's what often happens when, you know, we are addicted, for example, to stress and anxiety, that we are identifying ourselves with that. All of a sudden it becomes like a, you know, almost like a purpose or a definition of who we are in itself. And that's why when we are letting go of it, not only physiological, the body wants to have these stress hormones, it's also psychological. Our mind says, well, who am I if I'm not stressed? Who am I if I'm not anxious? And that's really an important aspect to deal with in your healing, that you are in many ways having to redefine and rediscover that there is so much more to you than just the stress and just the anxiety. And, you know, in my individual sessions with clients, I focus very much on stress and anxiety, but not only as let's, you know, make sure that you don't feel those emotions, or let's, you know, release and get rid of those emotions, but much more on let's actually grow into this greater yet to be. Make sure that you discover your true potential, discover what you are at the core of your being. And that, of course, makes a huge difference, because then you realize you have a choice. You're not just having to choose between the old ways, the stress and anxiety ways, and then something you don't really know what that would be without it, but you actually can define something, a path for yourself that leads you then into the freedom from this addiction and the freedom from fear and anxiety.
You know, one of the things that I wanted to ask you about is you work with people all over the globe. What have you seen? I mean, I'm sure you picked this topic because you've sort of seen a pattern that may be happening. And also because of the book you just wrote. I mean, this is an award-winning book where you talk about the fear and anxiety solution, which I think is brilliant. And so does everybody else about that book and the work that you do. And one of the things that I think has come to mind is how systemic this has become. One of the things I wanted to point out to you, I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were in the middle of the conversation. You know, they yelled out of the phone. You know how people do that? You know, they yell. You know, they just yell. They say, "Jessica, you know, put that down," right? Like that there, right? You're having a conversation with them. Right. And it's like, not that we don't all do that, but are we so, I mean, we're so stressed out. Look at the indication for chronic illness right now. I want to know, where do we start to peel the onion back on this? You know, where do we start with this? Because I think we're all crying out for help to say, This is what my stepmom would have said. My stepmom would have said, "Lord of mercy, child. Lord of mercy, child. You know, I got to get rid of this faster than you could shake a stick, honey." That's what she would have said. And I think that's what we want. Help us here. We don't want to do this anymore.
Well, that's just the tricky part, because, you know, you think you don't want it. But when you are addicted to those emotions, you actually don't know what you want, and you just gravitate automatically to getting more of the stress and anxiety. That's where, this is a little bit different, because it really makes you have to pay attention more. And I have been certainly a person who has dealt with a lot of anxiety myself. And one of my observations with me personally was, when I was anxious, is that it is really something that once you have it long enough, it becomes almost like, not only a self-fulfilling prophecy, because you only see the negative stuff, but it's also for you something that you wake up in the morning and you just feel like that automatically there is a pull towards that what causes you to be anxious. And so one of the first steps you have to really do is to take an inventory and really understand how much you have caused yourself pain and hurt by that addiction and by those patterns, and also how much you have caused others pain and hurt, because when you're stressed and anxious, you're not fun to be around.
No,
Many
that's right.
people that are, especially the people that care about you, they are getting stressed and anxious as well, because they are picking up on your emotions. And also, often it's erratic behavior that is a consequence of feeling this stress. So just really realize, to get a good, clear motivation on making a difference for yourself, that this is not any longer working. The problem with stress and anxiety, in contrast to, drugs or alcohol, you don't necessarily hit so much rock bottom. It's more like a chronic thing. And until really you had maybe a series of severe panic attacks and you just feel like you're not functionable anymore, or you have some chronic physical issues as a consequence of it, you can keep on doing this pattern for a long time. So just being aware of how it feels and what it does to you and what it does to others can also be like an eye-opening for you. And realizing that's another step that I find is important, is that you don't have to have stress and anxiety to feel alive. A lot of people, I think, are so shut down with the rest of their emotions and shut down with their general experience in life that only through stress and anxiety they are kind of waking up. That's the only thing they are feeling like, okay, now I'm kind of awake and alert in life, and realizing that this is not the only way for you to actually be present and be awake in life. That's certainly something that you also just need to, consider and look at. A very specific and easy way to start also with, releasing the addiction and really helping you to heal that, is to really not feed yourself with anything that triggers more of the stress and anxiety. It's for me always mind-boggling that on the one hand, we are pretty much a society of stressed and anxious people. Billions of dollars are spent every year on anti-anxiety medication, but as soon as a gory horror movie comes out on the market, it shoots up to number one. So there is also something, and I cannot watch those movies, to be honest, because it definitely, my subconscious doesn't like to go into those, really scary and often also, frankly disgusting ways of telling a story. But people do that because there is something that feels, once again, exciting, and this anxiety can be enjoyable. But what you're doing to yourself is just you're giving yourself huge jolts of that stress hormone, and you're just feeding more that addictive behavior. And that's the same when you are, right before a bed, have to watch, any of the news channels and basically bombard your mind with all the scary things, whether it's in the community you live in or whether it's globally. Avoid it. Step away from it. Have a very, very restricted stress diet externally. Avoid negative people that that are just always complaining and always talking about, how life is bad and how everything's going to just fall apart. Try just to stay away from those triggers so that you're not causing yourself to have more of those stress hormones. I mean, if you're addicted to alcohol, you don't go into a bar. So if you're addicted to stress and anxiety, try to stay away from those things too.
Yeah. I mean, what you talked about. So let's, here's what I want to talk about when we come back from break too. I mean, these are the things to try to stay away from, right? Right. I shared earlier about what it was like for me 10 years after my job loss, what actually, what came up for me. What was it that, happened to me when I no longer had my time, to filled with busy work, doing work, stress. I mean, going back to school at my age, whoa, that was a bit stressful for me. I mean, in every way. And I was working on a major consulting gig at the time here in Seattle. My boss was actually flying me back to California to finish my degree. But, part of this was the moment that I had and the sadness that I had in that empty space. I mean, I truly created crust busting then, as a description of what was going on with my life. I mean, I had no other way to talk about it. I didn't know you at the time, or I'm sure I would have gotten some help really quickly about it. And when we come back, I want to talk about this. What can we do beyond letting go of and stopping some things? But what kinds of things, Dr. Friedemann, might we bring into our lives? What are some of the good practices that we can now look at that will help us make that transition, from free falling 120 miles an hour? And by the way, that's me on Facebook. For those of you that keep asking me, yes, that's me skydiving. 120 miles an hour, free falling. What can we do to move from there in a way that's going to make sense for all of us to that place where peace does break out? Dr. Friedemann Schaub is in the house, everyone. We're going to take a short break right here on the Dr. Pat Show. For more information about us, check us out. Just go Google Dr. Pat. There you go. Or transformationtalkradio.com. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back with the show.
Saskia Roel, the international soul guide who has followed her soul from Hong Kong and Africa to America. Saskia cracks open the lives of her clients and brings their soul's purpose to life. Are you stuck in a life that doesn't work? Go to yoursoulguidance.com for your 21-day roadmap to the life you secretly dream about, absolutely free. Discover surprising truths about your soulmate, talents, blocks, and more. Now is the time. Go to yoursoulguidance.com.
The root cause of disease is not what you think. Doctors are treating the symptoms, not the root cause, because they haven't been trained to do so. Dr. Alex Lloyd has developed a simple technique that has saved thousands of people from lives of frustrating and debilitating illnesses. This technique has been featured on national broadcast and cable television in People, Time, and USA Today. If you are ready to heal and tired of being treated, visit dralexhealingcodes.com, where you will find free life-changing information.
If you are new to quantum techniques, it's easy to get a free 30-minute one-on-one session with a QT practitioner. All you need to do is make a minimum purchase of $25 from our online store at quantumtechniques.com, and you will receive a session with a QT practitioner that is worth $200. Click on the Discover Health Today in the moving banners section near the top of our website's homepage to get more information. Take advantage of this today.
Have you ever felt or seen spirit? Would you like to learn more about these beings of light? Michael Shane, founder of the Ascension Foundation, is inviting everyone to come join them on Sunday, May 5th to their free Namaste celebration of the Living Masters. Join Michael and the Masters for a fun-filled day of healing and enlightenment, followed by an evening of mystery and master communication apportation event. Michael, a very gifted, scientifically tested, transphysical medium, will attempt to bring through an exceptional, rare gift for everyone at the event. This sacred oil will be materialized right in your hand to assist you with healing and awakening. Admittance is free. For more information, please call the Ascension Foundation at 800-508-6437 or visit their website at michaelshane.com. That's MYCHAEL Shane.com.
On the cutting edge of the new mainstream, Christine Upchurch is passionate about bringing together science, psychology, and spirituality in a way that can be applied to our everyday lives for true transformation. The Christine Upchurch Show. Stellar conversations to illuminate your journey. Engages some of the most outstanding visionaries on the planet in lively dialogue to inspire you to become that bright light you're meant to be. Join Christine every Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific Time on KKNW, AM 1150, and Transformation Talk Radio.
Good job, Benny. Love that. I could see that video now. That was a breakthrough video, you know. He brought the whole, what did they call it? I don't know the video term. But he brought, Robert Palmer, brought that whole video silhouetting, you know, with all the common icons. Oh, my gosh, it was just crazy good. I'm so sorry he passed away. Well, anyway, this is where we are. Dr. Friedemann Schaub is in the house. Now, I hope that somehow throughout this show, you might have thought to yourself, there's something to be said for what this guy is talking about. And there really is. And, you know, Dr. Friedemann, I put myself out there as an example because I truly, I'm not one of these people that, I hear folks say, oh, come on, you can just go from being addicted to stress to be here now. No. So the question then becomes, if we truly give up all of those things we just talked about today, what can we bring into our lives? What is going to build the bridge for this transition? Unless you think it is possible to go from 180 miles an hour to be here now.
It's certainly not necessarily something that I feel I would be able to do. And, coming from a stressful past myself with lots of anxiety and addictive behavior around stress, I can tell you it didn't work for me this way. So there are things that we need to do that are more working as a bridge and steps in between. But see, the healing from the addiction and growing into a much more balanced and much more self-empowered version of yourself is a purpose in itself. And it can be a very enjoyable and exciting journey. And the book certainly gives you a lot of tools to do this. But I also think there are simple things that you can start right today. And one of them is, of course, just interrupting the pattern. Let's say you are addicted to let's say you're addicted to a negative thought. You're addicted to self-criticism that causes you only to feel stressed and insecure. Just being able to really say to yourself, okay, when that thought comes up, that you're not only not entertaining it, you're stopping it, but you're actually redirecting it. And that's something that I've found so incredibly effective, that our mind doesn't really work well with stop signs. Stop signs are leaving the mind kind of, without anywhere to go, anywhere to hold on to. And our mind needs to have something to move forward towards. And if you are not giving your mind any alternative to a negative thought, then your mind's just going to, after the stop sign, you forget about it, will go right back to that negative pattern. So being able to really say, okay, here is a negative thought, I'm going to stop before it triggers any more spiral out of control thoughts, and redirecting them in something positive, something that actually is more telling me what I want or what I want to believe, is a very, very powerful tool. And I wrote recently on the Huffington Post a blog about this. So if you are interested in really learning the steps, you can just also go there and find out. It's called Why the Monkey Mind Matters, and it really describes much more clearly what you can do to redirect your thinking. But then in general, there are also other things that we, from a physiological standpoint, need to understand. If you are addicted to stress hormones, and you're saying, well, now I'm just going to go into a monastery for 4 weeks and then hopefully I'm going to be sober, well, your body going to go through real bad withdrawal, and you're going to feel untethered, and maybe you're going to feel lost like you have been feeling. So much better ways to feed your body with something that also creates a response on the physiological level, but it creates a response that is actually healing and healthy. When you do have joy, when you do feel appreciation, when you do feel compassion, you actually release also hormones, neuroendocrines, that are also stimulating your cells. But the difference is you are stimulating your cells with a healthy diet and not a diet that actually causes you not only stress but also all the consequences of stress. So by really giving your cells and your mind a nutrition of things that make you feel good, and you're releasing dopamine and serotonin, and so you're actually building that bridge, and you're helping your body not just to, be in the void of nothingness, but actually having something to, to hold on to and feel nourished by, and replace the need and the craving of the stress hormone for something that you're actually going to notice once you are getting used to feeling appreciation. You want more.
Yeah.
Well, you could say, well, that's maybe also like an addiction, but that's a really healthy addiction. Be addicted to appreciating. Be addicted to be compassionate. Be addicted to feeling good. There's nothing wrong with it. But there's definitely something to be said about also really focusing on it and knowing that your body and your mind are responding to this, because it really is something that in itself is incredibly healing.
Someone once said to me a while ago that having a joyful life is our birthright. Everything about us. And they went on to really give not just the blanket statement, but they went on to talk about it from both the spiritual and a very religious perspective from their point of view. But they went on to say that, there's this essence of joy and vibration of birth itself, even in the most horrific circumstances, that is so honoring. And, and what they said is, we never forget that. We never forget that closeness and alignment that we have. And it's in our DNA. And then life happens, right? Whatever that means, life happens. And this is, I think, what you're saying here is we can bring back that joy. We were not brought into this world to be addicted to stress and anxiety. That is not what I believe. I don't think you believe it either, do you?
Well, I believe that, birthright sounds really nice because it gives you a sense of, well, I deserve to be happy. But ultimately, it's not falling into your lap.
No.
You have to really make a choice. Just as hard work it is to be anxious and stressed all the time, it is also work, at least at the beginning, to actually shift yourself towards, joy and appreciation. This is not something we can just say, oh, yeah, you're right, now we're just going to focus on that. No, it's a constant crossroad that you're going to face. And I think there is some real truth to this, that ultimately you create your own reality, and what it means is what you really focus on is your choice. Right. And, of course, you can focus on all the terrible things that cause you anxiety, but you can also focus on all the wonderful things that make your life worthwhile, all the people that you may have forgotten that care about you, that love you, all the great things that happen to you out of pure synchronicities. All of those things are a choice for us to do, but in order for us to really create the freedom from this addiction, we have to create new pathways, new neural pathways that make us automatically gravitate to that. Mm-hmm. And it's there for us. Yes, it is present. There is so much joy that we can have, and there are so many positive things that we can have. And your example is great because you said, I was lost, but then I had this inspiration of crust busting.
Right.
Well, that is something where you could say, well, this inspiration was a gift. That was the gift from the moment. When we are stressed and anxious, we don't see those gifts. We don't really see the opportunities. So really just, helping yourself to also realize when I overcome this addiction of stress and anxiety, I actually will change my life because I'm going to see opportunities that otherwise I can't.
I love it. Dr. Friedemann Schaub, I can't thank you enough for joining me here today. Thank you so much for today's show, for today's message. One last question. What's your personal message? What would you like to leave us with today?
Well, I really believe that we have this wonderful opportunity in the time where we are the most scared to really find the path to this light that brings us joy. I don't condemn emotions. I don't condemn stress and anxiety. I don't think there is anything, inherently bad or wrong with it.
Right.
But it really gives you this opportunity to say, this is my time to grow and my time to heal.
And this is our time to shine. Thank you, Dr. Friedemann, for joining us. Wow. Thank you all for tuning us in, turning us on. We will see you next time on the Dr. Pat Show.
You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. Our hosts are setting a new standard for a fresh kind of talk radio, creating conversations that are transforming the world, one listener at a time. Transformation Talk Radio's mission is to broadcast a distinct blend of live talk radio interviews with a mix of uplifting and intelligent news, educational and practical information. Topics range from personal development to critical issues relevant to a rapidly changing world. Stay tuned. Transformation Talk Radio starts at the top of every hour.
Stop. Get out of that car. Stop living your life in the passenger seat. Tune in to TransformationTalkRadio.com and let us help you drive.
I've heard people say that too much of anything is not good for you, baby. But I don't know about that.
Love is officially in the air. Transformation Talk Radio and the Dr. Pat Show is showing you love all year long, not just for Valentine's Day. Dr. Pat, known for her Pay It Forward manifesto, is now joined by the hosts on Transformation Talk Radio. I'm in love, baby, with Transformation Talk Radio. Tune in to TransformationTalkRadio.com. Amazing host, incredible guest. Get your groove on. Feel the love, be the love.
Can't get enough of your love, babe. Lord, some things I can't get used to.
There's a great hunger in this world for new lines of thought, because everywhere you look, they say that joy can just be bought. So please come and set aside some time to relax from frenetic. Transform your life. It takes a while, but results are magnetic. We aim to grasp the best in life and track the ways we grew. The how, the why, the what, wherefore, all this we share and do. But every now and then, we hope that you will share right back. Transformation Talk Radio wants you to hop on track. So calling all hosts, tall and small, of every size and hue, there's nobody we'd rather have to tell your tale than you. And if you have a tale to tell of how your life is changing, we'd love to hear you on the line say how you're rearranging. So run, don't walk to call us now. We'll set you up and show you how.
Hi, this is Dr. Pat. Join our radio family. Send us an email, host@transformationtalkradio.com, or call 1-800-930-2819. Host your own show. Let us help you bring your voice to the world.